Thanks for staying with us. So, a devastating attack on the Yelwata and Daudu communities in Benue State, Guma local government area has claimed approximately 200 lives, including women and children, also internally displaced persons, the IDPs. 5 security personnel were also killed in these attacks. The assault, allegedly carried out by terrorist headsmen, occurred despite prior warnings of an impending attack. Armed invaders overwhelmed local youths and police, then targeted the vulnerable IDPs seeking refuge in market stalls. Many families were reportedly killed and burned in their homes and the market, with children and toddlers amongst most of the victims. The attack left numerous and others injured. Now, what are your, I don't want to say what your thoughts, because I need Nigerians to express their pain with this, especially because we've had government year in, year out reassure Nigerians that they were on top of the attacks, that attacks had reduced, and they had the security architecture was functional, such that it was reducing and they were winning the war against terror. That's the rhetoric we've been hearing come from government year in, year out, and even month in, month out. But what are your thoughts on what's been done? And let's even start with the victims, because Very Dark Man recently also went there. We saw his video, was very graphic. We saw burnt bodies, totally, completely to ashes. And it was quite painful to see that this occurred in Nigeria, the biggest black nation on earth. It's quite painful. But let's open our phone lines. You can call us on 021-635-2013, 090-241-63440. You can send us your messages on YouTube and on Twitter. We'll be happy to read your thoughts. Let me come to the ladies. Because you are here every single day. We talk about insecurity for years. When you heard this news, how did it come to you?
It was more like, again, like not again should we experience something like this. Not again. It's sad is an understatement to express how disheartening this is. But this is not the first time. And this was not a shocking, like it's not something that they did not expect will happen. So for me, it's worrisome that people will say they are going to attack, and they attacked. This has happened. I'm seeing over 25 people killed in April 2022. We are seeing killings, 40 killed in May this year, over 100 killed now in June this year. It is back to back. And the locals are suffering. And some people seem to be carrying out these attacks and they're getting away with it. So it begs the question of where exactly should we be having a state of emergency declared? Where should we be having a state of emergency declared, if not a place where people are dying back to back? Why are we not having that kind of level of attention given to Benue State killing? Because Benue State killing has economics of war. There are beneficiaries of the crisis going on there. Whatever it is, we study the economics of the war, study those that are benefiting from the war so that we can effectively resolve this. While we are waiting for government, governor, senator, House of Rep, police, military to sort it out, another 100 have died, houses have been razed. So what would affect? When we talk about agricultural sustainability, we know Benue is food basket of the nation. The reason we have a food crisis majorly in Nigeria, aside from the flooding that takes place a few times, is that Benue farmers cannot farm. Benue farmers cannot farm. So if they cannot, if we're having internally displaced, not based on war, not based on terrorists, but based on farmer-header clash, which has been going on for time immemorial, can we not resolve this issue? There is a history to this. It is not in the past 5 years. This is not a case of the government to say they did not know what was happening or what's going to happen. We know what is happening. Can we then, if a willing government to resolve this, or declare some emergency and let those that can, the military step in and take over?
Let me hear you.
I started my day watching VDM's video where he was spotlighting the death, and I saw bodies burnt beyond recognition. I saw bones. I saw skulls of human beings burnt beyond this, and something just broke in me. I'm asking myself, this is 2025. With everything that the world is doing, with every technology that's coming, people are improving themselves. Different countries are getting ahead. We still have this. We have military personnel. We have gadgets. We have
technology,
intelligence, artificial intelligence. We are using some of these things, and we still have this. And I got to find out that they were warned that these people were coming. So if you're not warned and you were taken unaware, that's a different situation. You had a form of prior knowledge that these people were coming to carry out this attack. And they actually came, carried out the attack, succeeded and left. And we're still having this conversation today. Haba. So for me, I served in Benue State, Makurdi to be precise. Yes, it's a very peaceful town, peaceful state, that you will not believe such a thing would be happening here. And, you know, tracing it back to the history, they've always had warring factions. They've always had people who believed they were more superior than others. I'm not asking, what are the community heads doing? What are the local chiefs doing? What is the government of this state doing to ensure that they find a way to dialogue and bring peace between these people? So it's a different matter if we had bandits who were coming in from outside, or, you know, the headers, you know, those very wicked headers who come in from time to time. This one is, they are warring factions who are dragging whatever it is that they are dragging.
That's been for years.
Farmer header crisis.
Yeah, it's been ongoing for a very long time, until today we have not found a way to have a dialogue. We've not found a way to ask, okay, what is it that you people want? How can we meet halfway and solve the issue? And then innocent children, wives, mothers, fathers have to pay the price with their life because we cannot sit down and have a conversation. We need to do better.
You know, some of the best comments on Twitter, you know, somebody who had posted, said many families were locked up and burnt inside their bedrooms.
Yeah,
the group said in the post, so many bodies were burnt beyond recognition. We saw that on the videos. Said hundreds of people were injured and were without adequate medical care, while dozens were still missing. As of this was about Friday and Saturday. Amnesty International said the Nigerian authorities must immediately end the almost daily bloodshed in Benue State and bring the actual perpetrators to justice. The horrifying killing of over 100 people by gunmen that invaded Yelwata from late Friday into the early hours of Saturday shows that currently that security measures government claims to be implementing in the state are not working. Many people are still missing, aside dozens injured and left without adequate medical care. Many families were locked up and burnt inside their bedrooms. Amnesty International has been documenting the alarming escalation of attacks across Benue State, where gunmen have been on a killing spree with utter impunity. These attacks have been causing massive displacement and many affect food security, as the majority of victims are farmers.
Can we talk about the fact that, you know, I mentioned this has been happening. There was a report by the Catholic Diocese last year that in 2023, between January and December, they had over 119 attacks and over 500 people died in the attacks. So this is not one-off. It is, and they know. You know, when we don't solve a problem, when we don't solve a problem, it expands.
Yes.
We know that we are having an issue that can be resolved if we go back to the document on Ruga. If we go back to, we now have a ministry for grazing. If we solve that problem, we will know that any grazer we see on the road, you are a criminal. But right now, innocent headers are being attacked because they feel they might be part of the killer headers. So we have the killer headers, we have innocent headers, and in between, many lives are being lost. Farmers' lives are being lost, and the innocent headers are being lost. We saw what happened a few months back in Edet State, where some people felt we want to help ourselves. The headers have been killing our farmers, and they killed innocent headers. Same way, this is also happening where you are killing farmers. The killer headers are killing farmers, and somebody will want to take a reprisal attack one day. It will be innocent ones that get to be killed. Can we solve this problem and ensure that we separate where you are taking care of animals? We are old enough, as in, like, I don't get it. We are a mature enough economy, a mature enough nation to decide that farmers farmland. This is the land for farming. This is the land for grazing. Don't cross over each other. Why are we still fighting after many years, decades of this same issue? Yeah. If we really want to solve the problem, President Buhari said, this fight predates my presence as a president.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So our current president can say, this fight predates me. Who will solve this?
Who will now solve the matter? Yeah, so for me, I would like to also understand the security architecture of Benue State, because I know it's really like a small, they have landmass, but they are
small communities.
Yeah, they are small communities, and I do not think that they have enough security personnel in the state as a whole to sort of forestall what is happening. Is there any way other states can begin to come together to help, to support them? Do they need to send manpower? Do they need to send security personnel to them? What exactly do they need? We need to have this information. The Benue State governor needs to come out to say, these are some of the things that we need to be able to at least forestall this, to stop this to a certain level while we're still having those conversations. We cannot just allow them. After all, it doesn't concern me, it's not my state. When these governors forum, that they always do their meetings and share their money, when they go there, what are some of the things that they discuss? Yes. Benue, I'm crying, no, hold on now. What did they discuss there? I'm crying, I need help. What is your state going to give to me to support this? We need to come together. This is one nation.
You know, the president had instituted this regional developmental commissions. Yeah. Hopefully, those commissions eventually get to that point where they are supporting with either personnel security. They know how Amotekun and Lagos State everybody can have some kind of regional policing at some point. So these are things that needs to be done and drawn up, and the framework was put in place to implement them properly. Right. But I was reading an article here 2 weeks ago, actually, this is not recent, where the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Olukade, temporarily relocated to Makurdi in Benue State due to the incessant killings of innocent villagers by herders and militia groups. Now, the service had made this disclosure on their X handle. Unfortunately, members of the new terrorist group, Mahmuda, have reportedly killed 3 more villagers. This was 2 weeks ago. The point I'm trying to make is that if the Chief of Army Staff was there 2 weeks ago, and the idea really was to see what they can do to improve the...
And then this happened.
And this happened. Then exactly, there's something fundamentally wrong with our approach to this issue. And this is quite painful. We're going to go on a very short break. When I come back, I'd like to open our phone lines for Nigerians to call in, especially from that region. We'd like to hear your thoughts and see what the government can do to forestall this from happening again. 200 lives too many. This is a national disaster.
Too many.
Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I was reading an article by an African correspondent, Ngala Kilian Chimtom. He's from Cameroon, and he was given the report saying that he was kind of giving it a more descriptive situation, explaining that the residents within that community of Yelwata, said that 97% are Catholics, and 3% other denominations. It also hosts internally displaced persons who fled their earlier jihadist Fulani attackers in the neighboring towns. According to this spokesperson, State Governor's Office, the attack on Yelwata lasted about 2 hours and saw several houses burnt down. They added that government and the police officials visiting the village confirmed the total death of over 100 at the time. But what was most interesting and more painful is the fact that there were actually soldiers there protecting. Unfortunately, many of them, a few of them, lost their lives in trying to protect advancement into the communities. The worry I have is, when the government is completely handicapped, it's important for us to know, because recently a minister was asking us to pray concerning agriculture. I think the issue, I can't remember what it was. I wasn't around, but I was hearing that some minister asked people in the office to come together to pray, because I was telling somebody that some of our leaders really don't have a clue how to handle it. Right. And that's why we need to really be true to ourselves. Does our army, our military, who was in the past trained by the Israelis, this is the same military that defeated rebels in Liberia. These are the people that we sent to various countries.
Those are older generation.
This is the Nigerian military that had the stature, recognized stature. When you say you're in the military, people respect that entity. But today, it's really worrisome that we cannot defeat
this issue.
The headsmen.
Yeah, so I like what Tokwe said. Abi, it was you that said it, that when you don't handle an issue, he said, there's something my father-in-law always says. He says, if trouble is squatting, push it down. It's easier to push it down. You can even push with one finger. But if the trouble now stands, it becomes difficult. Then you have to now put your hands together and throw blows to be able to defeat. That's where we have gotten to, right? You talked about our military being very powerful at the time. I think they haven't lost that power. The problem now is that they have infiltrated the military. So the military now, I believe, is there's no eye single to the glory. You know, when we all have a focus, we all have a goal that this is what we want to achieve for our nation. The military, I believe, my personal opinion is that they are a bit divided, because now they have people who have infiltrated into the military who are part of the other side, who are part of trying as much as possible to destabilize the country. They are there. So when the military is planning, this is our plan, there are people there who would be, giving out the information. That's why it seems like the military has lost the glory and the power that they had before. And so the security chiefs now to look inwards and now ask themselves, how do we fish out those people who are sabotaging us in the military and, truncating us from getting to our goals as a nation? If we don't solve that problem, we're still going to have issues where we feel like our military is powerless because you're making a plan here. You're trying to, fish out the bandits, the criminal headers, and, terrorists and all of that. And there are people working behind the scenes against you. So you will not get the desired results. Exactly. So we need to be, like you said, truthful to ourselves. Where is our problem? What exactly is the color of our problem?
Let me take this call from Moses from Ikorodu. Thanks for calling, Moses.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the
show. I've been trying to call more than 2-3 years now. I couldn't get through.
Good to have you.
Even when I was in foreign land, I always liked your program, Rayos and others, and your contribution. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
My wife is one of your favorite TV shows that I normally watch every morning.
Thank you,
Sometimes I call her and she's watching it, and you're even doing a good job. I served in Adamawa in 2004, and in 2006 in National Census, I was one of the supervisors posted into that area. Benue is a good place, and it's an agrarian area. They have good food. In fact, I was so amazed when I got to that place. I was posted to Adipo, London, when I was doing National Census. That place, virtually everything, mangoes, oranges, but this thing is not just ordinary. This is an attack on Nigerians, and this is an attack on us as a nation to rise up to our occasion. We are not very true to ourselves. We can see during Buhari regime, they opened the borders. Some foreign nationals came to Nigeria, just like Hausa, just like Fulani, or they came in as to come and help in the election. And today we are seeing the result. You can see Dubai release some people in Nigeria that are terrorists. But up to now, government has not done anything. What of the use of national NIN? Government have done. There are good people in government. There are good people in military. There are good people in the police. But there are some sabotage. Until we begin to sanitize in each department, in each area of government, federal government needs to do more in that area. People that have died in that Benue alone, just of recent, it's more than Israel attack and Iran. True. Imagine, and we are not fighting war. So we need to rise up to the occasion and make sure we sanitize and get to the root of this cause. Imagine I lived in a Kwara state before. I know the Hausa I know the Fulani I know. I had some of them as a friend, and we mingle together as a farmer. What farmers have done to the S-men are not even up to 0.1%. It's not elder classes until we begin to tell our the truth. It's not elder farmer crisis. Farmers that have their own farm, heritage farm, they are farming in their land. They came in and destroyed their farm. Most of them are foreign, but collaborate with the local S-men. This is what is happening all over. In just also 10 most of the middle belt now, they are people that are producing food for this nation. These are terrorists. These are people that want to make Nigeria down. You can see now the cost of food go to the market.
Right.
The thing we buy 300 naira before, 150 for yam, 2 bag of yam. Now we can buy 3,000 per one, 4,000 per one. I came into Nigeria here. I go to Ikorodu market to just buy a 2 bag of yam. I'm paying 20, 40,000 just for 3, 4, 5 or 2 bag of yam. What have happened to us? This is thing that I have in a bag. When I was in secondary school, I have a bag for myself.
Thank you very much, Moses. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there are two things I want to highlight. Number one, this is not a war. It's not. In the case of war or two fighting, it means the other person is fighting. This is not, they were not fighting each other. This was a massacre. It's a genocide. You come to a place, you lock them up, you set it on fire. It's not war.
Awesome.
It is like we want to kill these people, we want to clear them out. The ones that survive, they will run away from the land. The land becomes bare, we take over. So let's talk about the fact that this is a taking over.
Yeah.
We're talking about the fact that every land that has been evacuated based on this crisis has been taken over by a group of people.
Yeah.
It is a war over real estate. It's land. It's land. And the people who are original settlers are being driven out. Let's also deny number two, there's a ethnic coloration. The Catholic people have accused that there is an ethnic coloration, and we would like the government to speak concerning that. Because when we hear and we're not discussing it, when we hear it and we don't mention it, and we say, oh, these are criminals. Yes, we know they are criminals. These are, the Catholic Church has shut down on the 1st of June. I took that story. I had to go and find the story that they've shut down this month. They had to shut down 15 of their dioceses based on the fact that their people have been killed. There is nobody to even attend church. The entire community has been ransacked, and they made this noise out. Then we're seeing barely within the same month when they shut down 15 parish, that another attack is taking place, which means the parish where these 100 people have been killed would also shut down. There's nobody that will go to church there.
Exactly.
So why are we not addressing these elephants in the room? Is it true the allegation that there's religious coloration? Is it true that it is ethnic cleansing? Is it true that some people are taking over this land after these fires take place? Who are the people taking over the land? Can the military, people was asking, do we debate that? What will happen if the military goes to the place and clear off all the people grazing? Because we had a former president that said, shoot on sight anybody grazing openly, but we knew that rule will not be followed through. So there is a fundamental structure we need to put on ground to protect the citizens of Nigeria. And Benue locals are citizens of Nigeria. No citizen is more superior than the other, and nobody should suffer. The Catholic Archdiocese, Father Bebe, he said that there were military checkpoints just few minutes from where attacks were taking place. Military checkpoints, few minutes from where and that it seemed like he doesn't know whether the military is helping or not helping.
Oh.
These accusations are strong, and I know the military is working because we read the stories as well. So it means that the military, there must be investigation carried out within Benue State why the military is not being effective in protecting lives and properties.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Dominic Alexander, calling from Lagos.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, if this killing is happening in Yoruba land, like Kwara, Oyo, Osun, Lagos, by now all the forces will be take over all those states.
Really?
Why the chief of army staff is sleeping, and the IG is sleeping, the DSS are sleeping? Why? I'm from Middle Belt. This is happening to my fellow Middle Belt. It's not good.
Okay, I'm not sure if they are sleeping because I know I just read a report where 2 weeks ago the chief of army staff was actually located. So I'm not sure they are sleeping or the DSS is sleeping. It's just that it seems as though that they are unable to provide the adequate solution to give a lasting solution to this problem, because I think there's a problem in understanding we know the causes. But let's not pretend. I think Tokwe has really kind of somewhat said I was really being careful not to us, because as a TV station also we need to be very careful what we convey to our audience. So it's important to understand the issues, which I believe our lawmakers and our leaders understand. But at the same time, we also need to be very, very careful how it is dealt with at the front of the.
So I feel that, hey God, may you not get to a point where some persons or factions are bigger than the government. because this issue is not as easy as it seems or as easy as it looks with the common eye. I think there's something at play here that we know we can't say. The government knows they can't say. The government is trying to also be careful in how they handle the issue. And before they finish their conclusion on how they want to handle the issue, many lives
may have been lost.
That's just the prayer that
that's
it
the
doesn't
price
get
too
to,
heavy to pay.
It doesn't get to a point where, because now you hear for this sort of issues, you use non-kinetic methods,
and
yes, and we cannot come out and tell you everything that we want to do to resolve this. These are some of the issues. The military will not give out all their information on how they plan to resolve this issue, but we are watching lives being lost almost on a daily basis while the government is trying to figure out itself. This is the time where sometimes I like this very direct approach where we take the offensive. Not waiting to defend, but we go offensive. And fish them out and deal with them and make noise and tell everybody if we are caught, you are finished and all of that. Sometimes some of these methods are needed in order to preserve the many innocent lives that will be lost while we finish figuring out the non-kinetic ways to handle the issue. So the government needs to decide on how they know the issues, they know what is happening, they know the compromises in the cabinet, in the offices, they understand these things, and they cannot come out and tell us. We also cannot open our mouth to say exactly what is happening. But they need to decide very fast how they want to handle this going forward, so we don't end up losing lives while they're waiting for non-kinetic ways.
Let's go on a short break. We're wrapping up with this conversation, but you see, as we are talking and discussing, people have died. As we're talking and discussing, people have been displaced as I speak to you. I think NEMA has a report, which I'll read after when we come back from the break. So they have a bit of a data on how many refugees we have to deal with right now. Stay on the break, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. A few comments. So somebody said that, says what's happening in the Middle Belt or North Central Nigeria goes far beyond mere land disputes. The majority of those being killed are Christians, and these are clearly targeted attacks aimed at reducing a certain population. This is not just conflict, the amount to genocide. Armed groups are killing residents and forcibly taking over their villages. My security guard's father was brutally killed, along with several other villages in Nasarawa State 2 weeks ago. Sadly, not a single mainstream media outlet reported the incident. I sincerely pray that this wave of violence does not spread to the south. And that's one of the issues we have. Yes, Benue is one state that has been covered, but there are a lot of killings happening in various pockets around the country, and it's not being well covered by the mainstream media. People know, we just hear that people died. So maybe you hear, I was saying, somebody went to the market to go and buy, I think, was it ram or something from the customer? And this customer was not there because his father was killed. And he had to go back home to bury the father. And we just to know, he kind of gets close.
This actually got coverage. We must celebrate VDM's going there.
You tried.
The truth is, VDM, like him or hate him, has brought a lot of attention to what happened in Benue State. Benue has lost a lot of people, more than this in one single attack, that did not get this much coverage. There are some people, young people, who don't watch mainstream news, who would never have heard of what is happening in Benue State if VDM did not go there and cover it. So yes, I want to celebrate and appreciate VDM for this action, for carrying the matter on his head, so to say, and to the detriment of his own life, because there are risks to this thing. So this is one good thing that is done amongst many other good things he's done, and I must acknowledge it. I would like us to go beyond, like the comment the person said on the comments. There are other communities that are facing this type of crisis. The government should address if it is actually religious or it is ethnic cleansing. And let's not say this is snippets of comments being said in different corners, because when we don't address the issue, things will continue to spread.
Can't solve it if we don't call it what it is. We don't call the issue what it is. You're just going to be skirting around it. Let me take Samson. I've been calling holding for a while. Good morning, Samson. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I just want to go straight to the main point.
Yes.
Before now, we'll be having these killings. Okay? I think the lady, you guys are doing a very good job. You've said it all. It is not Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government that inherited all these things, these killings. General Olubumi make a statement on channels one time. He exposed a lot of things and nothing is being done. He said he was the one, he's among the panel that investigated the first incident that of Boko Haram and all these bandits that started. And till date, nothing is being done. The only prayer we have right now is for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, to be able to take the bull by the horn and revert back to what that general said. Because he said it on national TV, and arrest those people that were involved. You shouldn't be scared of anybody. The people are with him. He should arrest them. People like Erufai should not be walking along the street. He should be arrested.
Let's be careful.
This is politics. They want to destroy his government. They are making it in such a way that they want to make his government ungovernable for him. And the people will not take it. They should go after them. He should take the bull by the horn and go after those people that the general mentioned. He mentioned it on national TV. They are there. He should pick them up and investigate them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Samson. Let's be careful in mentioning names on TV.
I have a few comments here.
Okay, go ahead.
Ngo Chichem says, my cousin died last month as there was an attack on my village in Gwe, East Local Government of Benue State. Oladidi says, if evil perpetrators are not caught, they get bolder and cause more widespread damage. Nigeria should wake up. Olufemi says they are not sleeping. That's, responding to the security chiefs. So the problem is that our logistics should be upgraded. When the Nigerian army struck, Amnesty International Nigeria accused them of killing. So Two Niger says we simply need to recruit more into the security forces. We need 2 million at least. Kinetic technology training. The only thing we have never tried is recruiting heavily into our security forces. I also agree. I think we don't have enough personnel to handle some of these issues from the different states that's coming in. We need to look into that. A lot of young people are not interested anymore in getting into security forces. What can we do? Because we all can't, to get them in. We all can't just sit down and...
can't use English to fight this.
Yes, what can we do to ensure that there are young people who are... Is there any way we can reduce maybe the criteria just because of the issues we want to solve locally? Yeah, make it attractive for them to get into the forces.
So according to this report, meanwhile, efforts to support displaced population is underway. The State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and United Nations Human Resource and Humanitarian Red Cross, and the International Organization of Migration, all of them are putting together, they're coordinating things together to help the internally displaced people from Makurdi international market. According to the reports, it says over 3,000 individuals, including many women and children, have been displaced and are in urgent need of food, non-food items, potable water, and essential medical supplies. As of last night, displacement figures stood at 1,069 households comprising of 6,527 individuals. Among them were 1,768 females, 759 males, 657 children, and so many others. I mean, it's just quite... Mothers lactating, adults, old people, 91 elderly. Quite all of them are in need of supplies at this time. So we need to do all our humanitarian services must be channeled towards the churches, mosques. This is the time for us to see what they can do to support those internally displaced in those areas. I mean, I know Two-Face also put a, yes, from Benue State, and there was a video he put out that he was speaking. It went viral. He was also calling on the government to do what they must to stop these killings. Tokwe, you're going to say something?
I'm just going to say that, I'd mentioned earlier that the long-term fundamental solution might include creating a proper distinction between the headsmen stuff that we've discussed over and over again. And that is because I'm not saying headers are criminals, because I've interacted with them. I came on the show one day and I said, I met headers on my farm, and I simply told them to shift, and they shifted. They said, Because the fear my team had was that these people are going to kill us or something. No. Majority of headers are actually innocent, hard-working Nigerians. It is the criminal element. And they said that there are some of them that come from other countries. Like in this particular Benue attack story, the coverage that Secretary said some come from Niger and from across the border. And that these, even from the way they talk, you know that they're not speaking our local Nigerian languages, that they are foreigners that are coming to attack within Nigeria. So it's not... we just need to be more decisive on how we are dealing with this issue, like it is affecting our family members. Maybe we need to think of it in that way. Let's not wait until it gets close to home before we now deal with it decisively. Let
me take Ogbanago. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Murayo.
Morning, sir.
And the other lady. My name is Ogbanago Mohammed Ibrahim. Thank you. I think, according to the last caller, this is what we do. Most of the presidents of this country, when people start telling them, "Oh, it's because of the next election, sir. These people are trying to destroy your government and all that," and you see them, they will now start playing politics instead of them to sit down rightly and say, "Look, this is insecurity. Let me see how to tackle it headlong." And people will start playing politics with it. I know a whole lot of people will be with, with the president, "Oh, these people are trying to destroy your government." Let the president come out with a categorical statement that, "Look, these criminals, people must not stay in other people's farms. People must not," because the same former President Buhari made the same mistake by telling Benue people, "Look, go back and stay in peace with your neighbors. My neighbor cannot be in the bush. My neighbor cannot be in my farm. My neighbor cannot go and be destroying my farm."
Exactly.
In as much as some of us will tell you, I am from Kogi State, right? And we know some of these criminals are not just the people we are calling, they are Fulani and all that. There are indigenous criminals that are there in conjunction with these people coming. So we must be careful when we are doing this. But Mr. President must make a categorical statement of that. Stop this killing. This army, police, all these people will go to this bush and catch these people out. Not until when it happens.
Right. Yeah. Really sad.
We have a fan on YouTube, Gowon Abdul. He says, "Morai, I lost all my family members, my father, my mother, and all my family members in same attack in Bokos, local government area of the state. This is pure land grabbing, not farmer headers clash." Oh, we're so sorry for that.
Really sorry
That's
for
deep.
May their souls rest in peace. Really
Amen.
sad. I was going to take a message from the Sultan of Sokoto, who has strongly condemned the recent killings in Benue, expressing deep pain and disturbance over the loss of innocent lives. The condemnation is contained in the statement issued by his secretary, Professor Khalid Aliyu, on Monday, that's today. It says that the leadership, under the leadership of Sultan of Sokoto, is deeply pained and genuinely disturbed by the renewed spate of gruesome killings and bloodletting in parts of Benue State, where scores of innocent and defenseless citizens have been massacred. How long will such senseless killings continue to occur in Nigeria's soil? Why has it remained so difficult to security agencies to preempting such catastrophic occurrences on our national lives? They also described the killings as a barbaric act, inhumane, ungodly, and a complete betrayal of our common values as human beings. And it was important to hear this from the Sultan of Sokoto, because sometimes, when we put ethnic and religious colors on things, when the leaders come out to show that this has nothing to do with religion, really, this is just people who want to take advantage or conquer and grab, as you said, real estate, grab land and kill people, get them to flee so they can take over their land. We need to call it what it is. It's a crime.
Yeah, it
not
is. It is a crime.
So that's why we've been very careful not to use so much of ethnic, but the truth is that it happens.
But it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about that. So, we also have precedents of how we can handle this. I remember, I think in 2015, Ghana had the same issue. But how they handled it was to order shoot at sight. Anybody you see who goes against, grazing publicly and all of that, shoot at sight, and they were able to resolve the issue, right? So there's precedence on how this can. It's not like, we don't know how to solve this issue. There's no, but are we willing? Do we have the political will because of our many interests to go this way? Because that's the only solution that I see that will work for me.
I have to wrap up on this, but I think we must remind ourselves that security is usually intelligence-driven, and we can't continue to be reactive. We can't continue to wait until something happens, and then they come out with the regular rhetoric. We will fish them out. I can almost write the headlines. We're having a committee. We know there's going to be a power committee, the delegation sent to that place to see, investigate. We see this high-powered delegation is going to Makurdi to see what happens.
Come back and
We're tired
and
done with those rhetorics. What we want is decisive leadership. What we want is decisive strategic attack, strategic decision on what needs to be done to put an end permanently to this senseless massacre of innocent Nigerians. I think we can wrap up on this. Let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.